My dear and lovely Leos, this is your horoscope for September 2024. And September seems like will be financial to you, my dear Leos, because all the things will be happening in your financial houses. Resources, money will come forth in your life, and mentally, and physically, and materialistically. Now, September will be one of the important months of 2024 because we have eclipse, one of the pair. Now, the second one will happen 2 weeks later in October. And eclipses, they are such a wonderful tools of the universe. It's like elevators. They change our life drastically and most importantly for good. That's what we should remember. Because when eclipses hit, we tend to, as humans, we don't like changes. But when eclipses hit, they are inevitable. Now, and September will be the month when we will have two heavenly bodies that will set the tone for the next half year, even to 7 and up to 8 months. We will talk about these two planets that will set the tone more deeper, but let's start from the beginning of September. Now, 3rd of September, we have new moon in your financial house, second house of earned income at 11 degrees, meaning those of you who are born 3rd of August, plus or minus 5 days, so beginning of August, Leos, you will be affected the most by this new moon. And new moon will have opposition from Saturn, planet of work, planet of hard work and responsibilities. And Saturn also, FYI, rules your house of work in your natal chart. But Saturn will be transiting your another financial house, house of other people's money that come into your life, 8th house. Now, you see, this new moon is totally speaking about resources to you. It's on that axis, is happening. New moons are all about new beginnings, some sort of new start, new story, a new person sort of thing in your life. And, this aspect between new moon and Saturn, I call it relationship aspect. And it's more about relationship, like between you and other people. It might be, this new moon's topic for some of you, it might be about relationship between you and your employees, or between you and your employer, or between you and your business partner, because Saturn is in your 8th house. And it might be about your spouse. Like this new moon might be talking about the family budget. Then it's a relationship with your wife or husband, or your steady partner, let's say long-term partner. Now, happening in the 2nd house, and it's a new thing. It might be actually new job offer, new position, some sort of new promotion, let's say some sort of new opportunity to earn money somewhere, whatever is that. But again, this new moon has a bit harsh angle from Saturn. It seems like whatever will be the offer to earn money, it won't be that simple. It will involve a lot of hard work and responsibility, huge responsibilities, and especially in front of maybe shareholders, in front of a government, or in front of a bank, let's say. If you are set out to start a business, because, 2nd house is not only when someone offers like a job to earn money, but it's also if you are, like, let's say your situation is that you're trying to open a business, and you're aiming September, I would, suggest you to pause a bit, choose another time, because, if you start that business, then of course it will involve quite a lot of pressure, especially from Saturn making that angle, and from the bank, let's say, that is offering a loan, for example, or from those shareholders that are investing into your business, or investors, any people who are involved. And there is an indication that people will be involved who will put money there, whatever is that. And if you're a student, it might be about your scholarship. My dear student Leos, don't jeopardize your situation, especially if you're trying to earn pocket money, let's say, or even not pocket money while being student. And in some countries, it's illegal to work while you're a student. And at the same time receiving a scholarship from the government, or from any financial institutions or banks or whatever, or from the university itself, then there is indication that it might get known. So better to try to do your work sometime other time, but not now, because this new moon might be indicating exactly this kind of situation when you might lose that scholarship, if in case they know that you start working, let's say, illegally somewhere. Now, on another note, new moon is happening in your house of financial possessions, like material possessions, those expensive things like a house, like real estate, apartment, or a car, or jewelry, whatever is there, like actually, or some, I don't know, bonds and shares, because another financial house is involved, especially your investments also here under the scrutiny of this new moon. I would suggest you not to invest all your money into one thing. There is an indication you will have such a temptation to do that. Better not to do that. Better try to save around this time at least half of your savings. And another thing to talk here, that I said, it's about like real estate and material possessions. Again, if you're planning to buy those things, like expensive things, with the help of your, I don't know, investments or bank loan, just so you remember that it will be hard to give back, and it will be a long journey, because Saturn is the planet of time. It won't be that quick that you will give back all the money that you've taken, let's say, from wherever, to buy those expensive things or to build your business. Now, another thing here happening, ruler of new moon, Mercury, because new moon is happening in your second house, and second house in your natal chart is ruled by Mercury, planet of communication, commerce, and trade. That's why, like most of Leos has this commerce and trade kind of, characteristics, let's say. Now, Mercury is in shadow period, and it will be in your first house, in your sign, coming out recently from retrograde. It's taking its pace, slowly but gradually moving faster, getting back to its normal pace, let's say speed, recovering its speed, will receive another harsh beam from Uranus, now planet of surprises and shocking situations. Now, with Uranus, you never know what is going on. Even in astrology, my dear Leos. And Uranus will be in your 10th house. Now, 10th house is the career house. It's the highest house in our chart that indicates who we want to be, where we want to be, with whom we want to be. And it's our house of respect and reputation. Now, Uranus will be retrograde, already moving slow by the 1st of September, because it started moving slow 1st of September. We will talk about it a bit later. Now, both of these planets, indicating to the past. There might be some sort of something about past actions or decisions that you've taken in terms of your career, in terms of your job or your life calling, let's say, who you want to be. This new moon might bring the situation here to you. It might be that you're changing job and you're changing actually the view of yourself, and your reputation might be also at risk, because it's a very harsh angle. It might be that you're losing your reputation or influence. Let's say especially if you've been involved in a high position level, like high level positions, then it might be that you will get downgraded, and now let's say you will lose sort of reputation and influence. And for some of you, it might be your father or your manager's life. Because if it's not about you, then it might be happening in your father's life or something happening in your manager's life. And 10th house is also all about achievements, nomination. There is a title also. They might come as, some sort of hard things to acknowledge. You might lose sort of if you've been, let's say you've got nomination, but you didn't get the prize itself, but it's still good, isn't it? So don't be upset if those things happen. Some of you might be actually nominated and also prized, recognized, and for some of you it might be a downgrade. It all depends on your situation right now and the choices that you've made in the past, because these two planets are indicating that. But this new moon will be saved by other heavy planets, karmic planets, Neptune and Pluto, that will be making amazing beams to that Uranus, planet of surprises, to make it softer. So at the end of the day, shocking situation won't be so much shocking. It seems like, let's say, you will be knowing the things anyhow. Now, Neptune and Pluto will try to save the day of this new moon, my dear Leos. Or the person or the relationship or material possession, they will try to support you. Especially if it's your colleagues or your manager or boss, let's say, they will try to encourage you. And some of the even business partners and spouse, they might be encouraging you and very supportive. Now, let's talk about this ruler of this new moon, Mercury. On 9th of September, we have Mercury moving into your second house, hitting the house that we had new moon. recently, exactly that one. If the news of this new moon might hit you exactly around these dates, like 9th of September, if you will not get around 3rd of September. And always allow new moons 5 days plus and 5 days minus to deliver the news. Mercury in September is very interesting. It will activate your three parts of your life. In the beginning of September, it will be in your first house, actually activating your me house, everything related to yourself. Your mind will be on yourself, my dear Leos. Seems like, let's say, changing an image or your appearance or something related to how people call you. You might be changing it by the end of or by the beginning of September, or something related to priorities, to your plans, to your wishes and who you are at core, and how people treat me thing. You might be quite reflecting on those things. Your mind is there by the beginning of September, but when Mercury moves on 9th of September to your second house, your mind, your thoughts, and all the ideas popping up in your head might be switching into your financial situation. Second house is how we earn money house. And it's also directly linked with our self-respect, self-worth, because how much we respect ourselves, that's how much we earn money. It always relates to each other, my dear Leos. And it seems like you will be for a bigger part of September reflecting on your earning situation and income situation, how to make it bigger, maybe how to pay something, how to buy a house, or like all those things. There are some things going on when Mercury is in your second house. But by the end of September, on 26th of September, when Mercury hits your third house, you will get busy with communication, because Mercury in the third house, and third house is exactly house of communication, commerce and trade and languages, and learning something very quick. In the third house, Mercury in third house gives all sorts of deals, agreements to sign, papers to read, emails, chats, all things will get activated by the end of September. You might get quite busy socially as well. Now, 4th of September, Mars, planet of, desire and motivation, will move into your 12th house. Now, Mars will be the one of the planets to set the tone for your next half year, my dear Leos. When Mars moves into your 12th house, it will activate the topic for a half year and even more, because it will be retrograding this year. For Mars to be in your 12th house for such a long period, it's very, unusual, of course. But because it's retrograde, that's why it will spend so much time in your 12th house. And it seems like universe is telling you to focus exactly there, your power, because Mars is our power, our actions, where we take actions in our life. Where is our Mars in the chart? And in your case, for the next 7 to 8 months, it's in your 12th house, my dear Leos. And Mars will be retrograding and will be back to your 12th house right after New Year on 6th of January, to leave only in April. So that's how long Mars will be in your 12th house, since 4th of September. Now, Mars retrogrades every 2 years. And, in these kind of cases, Mercury is trying to universe is trying to tell you something, to focus exactly there. 12th house is our private house. It's the house where we do things behind the doors. 12th house when we want to stay alone and do something. Like when we want to research or sit alone, some sort of work that is done alone. In solitude. And also 12th house is all about past. You might be digging up something about your family history, or about whatever history. Maybe it's archaeology if you are in that field. Something that will have a work to be done until April. And whatever is that will finish only by the end of April, my dear Leo, so that you know. And you will find the answers only by April and finish the work. 12th house is also all about our subconscious mind. And naturally, Mars rules your 9th house. Now, 9th house is the house where we look for meaning of life. And here, seems like you will be in a deep kind of a work, subconscious mind work. You will be looking for something, let's say, like a meaning of your life sort of thing, meaning of your existence sort of. And seems like your subconscious mind will have all the clues, but it will be a bit of a long time work. Don't expect quick things. It will happen only by the end of April. You might be on a clear path by only by that time next year. So give yourself time. Don't be harsh on yourself, my dear Leos, and tap in your subconscious mind, whether it's meditation or hypnosis or astrology or any sort of esoteric knowledges like, I don't know, numerology, tarot cards, anything that will be in your life and you will need, try to go with the universe and sort out that part of your life, because it's clear that universe is trying you to focus exactly there, putting your all efforts in your 12th house. For some of you, it might be all things related about something that is very far from your home, maybe on an island, maybe somewhere where there is a sea, where there is a nature, somewhere secluded. Like if you, especially for you guys, if you live on an island, like somewhere, or very far from your home, let's say immigrated somewhere. And it seems like will be quite a lot of work to immigrate, like gathering the papers and actually moving and all the stuff, or maybe buying a house, real estate there, or going for studies also for my dear Leo students. It might be that you will be going for studies far, but those studies will be sort of not for a long time, as I said, sort of short term kind of studies. And as I said, it's all about, isolated places, sort of secluded places. Some of you might be, let's say, going some sort of treatment or retreat, not necessarily like health wise, but it's also a possibility, because 12th house is all about our health, and Mars is there. Mars, rules all things sharp, including surgical knives. It might be that you might need a sort of a surgery and you will be stuck in a hospital, let's say, for that period. Of course, there will be a period when you will come out of the hospital, because Mars will be retrograding and it will slip into, own sign. But still, when it goes back into your 12th house, seems like you will have to go back to the hospital to finish the procedure or to finish the treatment. In some cases, of course, it will be about the surgery, let's say, planned or unplanned. In some cases, it might be about as simple as some sort of treatment. Let's say, I don't know, psychological treatment or for pleasure. And you might so much like, let's say, the place where you're going to travel, sort of island, sort of there is nowhere, let's say, kind of thing. You might want to spend actually time in solitude with yourself, far from other people, like in the privacy. And you might be living in that island, let's say, you would prefer, but this will only be up until, as I said, April. You might, have take retreats or rest or some sort of private vacation from whole world, let's say. It might be happening too. When Mars hit my 12th house, I was actually stuck on an island exactly for 6 months. It happened on the last Mars retrograde. That was a crazy period, but anyhow, this manifested so literally in my life that I would never forget it. Now, for you guys, it might be the same thing. Some of you might really be stuck somewhere, willingly or unwillingly, actually. It doesn't matter. For some of you, it might be also a prison. For some of you, it might be a hospital or a library where you work like day and night. And there is a less kind of sort of communication there, sort of you are craving for alone kind of time, loneliness sort of thing. And you might be, or for some of you, it might be you will be working, alone on some sort of project. And you would want to do it behind the doors that no one sees and no one knows. You might be doing that too. Now, let's talk about eclipse now. On 18th September, we have full moon lunar eclipse. Now, eclipses, they have 10 times power than any other, let's say, common full moons. Meaning this full moon will have power of 10 full moons, my dear Leos. And it's happening in your house of other people's money, 8th house. Now, 8th house is a big house, and I will deep dive into this topic of eclipse in a whole separate video, so stay tuned. But here I would like to briefly mention that this eclipse will happen at 25 degrees, meaning those of you who are born on 17th of August, plus or minus 5 days, will be affected the most by this eclipse. This eclipse will be speaking to you. The whole universe is trying to wake you up, my dear Leos, those of you who are born around those dates. And this eclipse will be conjunct the ruler of the eclipse, Neptune. And Neptune is the planet of illusions and planet of magic and also inspiration. Now, Neptune is connected to fog. Whatever it touches, it makes it unclear, let's say, makes it confusing. And eclipse itself, even without this Neptune, is usually, during eclipse season, we don't see the clear picture. So that's why I would advise you, whatever will be happening, whatever is the news or event or a person that is brought by this eclipse into your life, act on that only by the end of November. Why so? Because during eclipse, to make decisions, it's always dangerous. It's always risky, let's say, not dangerous, because it's always hard to revert it back, to take it back, to undecision it, let's say. That's why make your decision only by the end of November, because we have another eclipse in October. So give eclipse time to settle down, to make the picture clearer, to give you all the information so that you will make informed and steady decisions. You may you may react, of course, and it almost will be impossible not to react. Usually when eclipses hit, it's so much drastic that it will take such a urgency effect to, I don't know, decide and forget, or fastly do something kind of thing, or take a decision kind of thing. But again, pause and try to calm yourself down and be more of a philosophical, and take your time as much and as long as possible before you say your final word. Now, eclipse has much broader and longer time period of effect, and you might have already gotten your news by the end of July or by the end of August, or you will get the news in by the end of October or November, because always allow eclipses 2 months before and 2 months after it appears, the period where it will bring the news for you and unfold the situation of your life. But always remember, eclipse is always for good, my dear Leos. We tend to say, when eclipses hit us, usually we don't like it. How to say, because we are humans, we're not welcoming, most of the times, the change. But eclipse's job is exactly to bring that, so that something changes, something vacates its place in your life to build something new and much more positive and beautiful. Now, because it's a full moon, something is coming to conclusion in your life, or something is, being shown to you directly, so that your attention is fully on that. And this full moon eclipse, lunar eclipse, will have harsh angle from Jupiter. Now, Jupiter in general is the happy, lucky planet of the universe. But Jupiter, whatever it touches, it makes it bigger. And Jupiter will be in your 11th house. And, as I said, this eclipse will happen in your 8th house. It seems like, for some of you guys, it might be around the money, especially your investments. If you've invested into some cryptos, shares, and bonds, there might be some turmoil happening around this eclipse, some sort of issue happening there, especially if let's say, there is a friend involved, or there is a society involved, sort of your friendship society, or some sort of group of people that are like-minded, and seems like there will be a money issue there. Or if you are in a, let's say, bank, or you've taken a loan from bank or any sort of financial institution, again, for some sort of future needs, I would advise you not to take that bank loan. I would suggest you to wait, to make the deal other time, because here the future of that money seems unpredictable, I would say, with Jupiter in your 11th house. And I know Jupiter is expanding your wish, your future vision and horizon, because 11th house is all about our future, and one or two of your wishes that are dear to your heart has a potential to come true, with such an ease and luck. You won't believe it. But here, eclipse is falling in your 8th house. Now, 8th house is also house of critical situations. It's a crisis house. And because it's called so, there is also like surgery possibility, because 8th house is also rules everything related to health and healing, our wound, our traumas also here. And it seems like, and because it's connected with Neptune, something will be impossible to pinpoint around your health for some of you guys. Something will be impossible to, let's say, maybe for your doctors or physicians, whoever will be there to help you, something will be very impossible to see clear through, and to say exactly what is that that you are sick, let's say, with, or what is the diagnosis of your situation and health condition, let's say. So better to really postpone the decisions up until November, my dear Leos. And for some of you, especially those of you who are studying, it might be about a scholarship. And here, this eclipse might bring in news that, like, let's say some of you might not be liking the news about around your scholarship. You might not get that scholarship, especially if you've been, let's say, trying to get some sort of financial help for your kids too. This is for parents, Leos, my dear. Especially if you are in a divorce settlement, then the alimony there will be a problem. And it might be an issue. It might be a source of disagreement. And or actually the source of divorce also, if you are in that process, then it seems like there might be a battle around the money situation, financial situation of your mutual kids, let's say. Now, if your situation is like a conception journey, like fertility journey, if you are on that journey, and you also, plus especially those of you who are trying IVF, in vitro, or those non-traditional ways of having a baby, this eclipse might be huge for you. Something will be very unclear, but because Neptune is the planet of magic, I want you to focus on your health and wish to have the baby. Always tell yourself, I'm pregnant, and everything will be lucky and everything will work out. And it seems like this Neptune has the power to bring your wish, because Neptune is the planet of magic, and conception is generally, it's a magic of our world that doctors still don't know all the things, all the aspects about, conception. And Jupiter is in your 11th house. That is a wish house. If that is your wish, my dear Leos, you have a big chance to get pregnant here. For some of you, it will be a really wild ride, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it, my dear Leos. So make a try, and you will see the result. And the good news is that heavy planets will be so supportive of this eclipse, because they will make a huge grand trine, which will be in your 10th house and another health house, 6th house. If like your social status of becoming mother or father seems like there is a sort of a magic happening there in your 8th house, my dear Leos, there really might be, a magic happen and you might get pregnant if that was your wish. And karmic planets, heavy planets, will be supporting that your wish and will be granting it. Believe in that. And for you guys, my dear student Leos, as I said, if you won't be granted a scholarship, don't be saddened, because it seems like you have the power, maybe like the relative who will be helping you to cover the study, like financially, even your work, or someone like, let's say, as your father or someone who you respect, helping you with those financial situation of your studies aspects, let's say. And for some of you, it might be about inheritance too. And the news won't be of your like, my dear Leos. But no worries on that. Anyhow, because of the karmic planets making such a beautiful aspect to that eclipse, seems like you will have your inner power to understand why the result is so, let's say. And lastly, I would like to say also about Sun. 22nd of September, Sun moves into your 3rd house. When I said in the beginning of video, Mercury will hit your 3rd house by 26th of September. By the end of September, your whole full attention will be on your 3rd house. Seems like you will be writing something quite a lot, or speaking, or some project that you will be working in solitude, because Mars is activating your 3rd house. But still, there will be quite a lot of communication by the end of September. I also would like to add a few words about Uranus that I mentioned briefly in the beginning. Now, this planet went retrograde on 1st of September, meaning slowing down, it's going backwards, and it is going backward in your 10th house of career and social status, until 30th of January 2025. Now, Uranus is a heavy and karmic planet. It usually affects us on a more subconscious level, our spiritual growth level, what is going on mentally, and most of the time inside of us. During heavy planets retrograde, usually those things happen inside of us that we don't like necessarily verbalize it, don't tell to anyone, but time to time popping up in our mind. And it's for you, my dear Leos, it will be 10th house of career and social status. About your life calling, let's say, who you are in a bigger society, who you want to be, where you want to be, let's say, who you aspire to be, and who you respect. Now, 10th house is all about our influence, our respect as well, how much people respect you. Also, these things. And, during this retrograde, you will be quite a lot of reflecting on these topics and thinking time to time popping up, about your meaning, like career meaning, what you do in life. And especially this retrograde, you might experience some of the deja vu sort of moments, like this already happened moments, because Uranus went retrograde exactly same period as last year, from September to January. And it seems like you will be thinking about the decisions that you've taken already about around this area of your life, about your career. Seems like some things will be repeating itself. You will be catching yourself on the thoughts that, oh, this already happened. And you are going back to the decisions that you've taken and thinking about them, if they were right and true. And this, the clear vision comes only by the end of January, seems like, because Uranus finished its retrograde only by that time, my dear Leos. Now, this was your horoscope for September. I wish you amazing September, and it all depends on our positive mood and our attitude, because whatever month we want it to be amazing, then it will be amazing. So stay on the positive side and stay tuned for the upcoming video of eclipse. Don't forget to check your rising sign and moon sign to get clear picture of the month. Love you all. Bye bye.